This is a DX-40 that is not working perfectly. I want to sell it for $75. Can I fix it? Probably, but I guess I'm a little bit lazy now and I don't feel like going through all the trouble of continuing to troubleshoot it. Now I have troubleshooted it some, and in troubleshooting it as much as I do have some information to share with you. So let's see, I'm going to show you how it works and then I'm going to tell you what I've done. And if I don't get the $75 I'm looking for, I will have to take some time and fix it, which I'm pretty sure I can do. In any event, let's show you what it does do. I'm putting it in the, we tune it up with 3 mils of grid current, and we have that done, and there that is. It's on 40 meters on 7154, more or less. Now I'm going to put it in the CW position, and as you can see we're putting out about a little over 20 watts, which is about half of what we should be putting out. And when I increase the tune, it doesn't give us any more power, in fact it gives us less. And if I change the dip here, I'm pretty much at maximum power. Okay, so that's, oh sorry, we should have put this in the play position, but it's not going to seem much different. If I increase the grid, increase this, the power goes down, and there's the dip right there. So I'm getting about 20 watts. Now I first turned it on, I got about 40 watts output. On the very first day I had it, I tried it out and it seemed to work not so bad. It put out about 40 watts, but it was probably about 15 minutes later that it operated in the situation it's operating in now. This rig does have some modifications. It does have a microphone gain switch, and it does work because I put it on AM and it sounded pretty good. What was a little strange on AM, when it did have full power output, normally when you flip from CW to phone, the power goes down. In this case the power does not go down, and even when it was operating fairly good, when I loaded up to 125 mils, the power did not go down. So it seemed to be putting out full power on AM. So what did I do? Well, first of all, you have this microphone gain switch that's here, and next you have there's apparently some sort of a tuning network that was put in on this. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and we'll take a look at what's inside. I did check all of the tubes by replacing them. I replaced it with a good working DX-40, which I have over here. That's my DX-40 that I keep and I normally operate with, and I'm not selling that because I like it. Well, I don't dislike this one, it just doesn't work perfectly. So I did replace all the tubes, and inside it has some sort of a tuning network. If you look there, it's got a tuning network that was added in. I've moved the switch a couple of times and it never did increase the power, so I disconnected that tuning network that was added in, and it didn't seem to make any difference. Actually, when I did disconnect it, the power did go out a little bit more. You're also seeing my QRP rig, in which you are hearing the tones on there, and I'm going to shut that off because we really don't need that anymore. Okay, so how did I troubleshoot it? Well, I checked the high voltage. I'm not going to touch it now, although I imagine there's some hams that would love if I did. And the high voltage was fine. I had about 700 volts under load and was fine. I checked, the next concern was the power resistors down here. I was a little concerned that maybe they were not at the proper resistance, but they were. And now I will we will check the underside, and I'm going to turn it off to do that because I don't want to kill myself. So before I go any further, here is the top. You can see it's not in perfect condition, but it looks okay. It's not too bad. Alright, let's take a look at the inside. Well, one concern was the filter capacitors, but they seem to be in pretty good shape because I am getting good voltage out and there's no hum on the signal, as you heard. So that seemed to be okay. Then there's this resistor down here which goes in the screen circuit, because if you don't have enough screen voltage on the 6146, what will happen is you will not get enough output. But I did seem to have enough. I had about 100 volt screen voltage, and so that was okay. So there wasn't a problem there. Well, then I was concerned that the cathode on the 6146 was not going to ground, because they use this. They added there are some. See those resistors right there? If I can focus in on that. Those resistors are on the cathode circuit, and they dropped some voltage to put across the meter. But that was also quite fine. In fact, I short-circuited those resistors. That caused the meter to stop working, but it didn't cause any other kind of change. Have a little trouble following the function switch. I'm just not too good mechanically, but I finally figured that out, and didn't seem to be any problems there. So that's the rig, and I've done some troubleshooting. Since I have good B+ voltage throughout, and since the tubes are all good because they're checked by substitution from a known working rig, I am at somewhat of a loss to figure out what the problem is. Now, we may be losing drive. That may be part of the problem, and that there may be a modification. Since this person did do obvious modifications, there may be a modification in there that I was unaware of or cannot find. But I'm a little concerned that that isn't it, because on the first 20 minutes or so that I had it, it worked pretty much okay. And then when I turned it on the second time is when I got the low power output. So if I can't get my $75, I'm going to find out what's wrong with it. And if I do get the $75 and you buy it, I sure would like you to tell me what you found. That would be great. I would really love that. So take a look on eBay, and it'll be for sale on eBay, and maybe I'll put a link to it on QRZ.